I am going off hormones. That is probably the weirdest way I've ever introed a video. We're just gonna roll with it. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys have been enjoying the return back to the political videos I've been doing lately. I know you guys wanted that, so ye ask and ye shall receive. But today's video is definitely a more personal one. I have been on YouTube now for almost 3 years, and these last 3 years of my life have been the most transformative of my life. Especially if you've been here since the beginning, you guys have seen me through so many huge changes in my life. You've seen me through breakups and meeting someone new and getting engaged and moving and surgeries. You guys have literally been in the operating room with me as I was vlogging, getting my facial feminization surgery and my breasts. So when I started YouTube and I posted that first video almost 3 years ago, I think next month is my 3-year anniversary, I think I was maybe 2 months on hormones. I had literally began my transition right before I went on YouTube. I changed my name to Blaire right before I started YouTube. Since I've already shared everything and let you guys in and you guys have been watching, I definitely am entering a new phase in terms of my transition and my life and my story as a person. And I definitely want to talk about it. Basically, I am officially, for now, going off of hormones and basically detransitioning, reversing the clock in terms of all the progress I've made in my body with hormones for one reason, but it is a really, really huge reason. It's the only reason I ever would. And that reason is I want to be a parent. I want to have kids. I want to have a family. And unfortunately, I've talked about this on my channel in terms of other people, but it's also always been true of myself. Hormone therapy, especially for male to female trans people such as myself, it essentially makes it so you can't have kids. It completely kills your sperm count. It completely, nullifies your ability to pass your seed onto a biological female human and make babies. Now, obviously, hormone therapy is a really essential part of transition. I wouldn't be where I am if I had not started it. But considering I started it at 22 and when I was in a relationship that wasn't so serious as mine is now, obviously, engaged, having a family and having kids and, making little U's was not anything on my mind. It was so far out of the scope of what I saw for my life. The only thing I saw at the time when I started hormones at 22 was my need to be on hormones, my need to transition, my need to live the life that I wanted to and frankly I needed to live. I just didn't have the long-term foresight as most 22-year-olds don't. And listen, I'm 25 now, not exactly an elder here. I still sometimes have trouble thinking ahead, but I am engaged. And this is something that, comes hand in hand with getting married, is having a family. And even though there obviously are some non-traditional aspects of who and what I am, a lot of my goals in life, in fact, most of my goals in life are quite traditional, and that does involve having a family. So let me explain the sort of technical side of everything. So now I know everyone's minds are going to Blaire. You can't get Joey pregnant. Why are you going off of hormones? Obviously, I cannot get Joey pregnant or vice versa, but we can use a surrogate, and that is an option. In fact, that's really the main option other than adoption. And I have absolutely nothing against adoption. I think people who adopt kids are amazing. Thank God there are people who adopt. And honestly, in the future, I would be open to adopting, but I would like to have at least one child with my own DNA. And that is something that, I never really thought about it until now, but as I'm getting a little older, I'm 25, mid-20s, I'm with a person who I'm trying to build a very long-term future with and a family with, it comes up. So the reason I'm going off of hormones is to attempt to freeze my DNA for when the day comes, which I hope is in the next few years, where I have my money together, I have my house together, I'm living where I want to live, and Joey and I say, okay, it's time, let's get a surrogate and let's rock it, let's do this. And the scary and really unfortunate part is that there's no guarantee it'll work. I've been on hormones consistently for the past 3 years, and so I have spoken to doctors who say that it is actually a possibility I am permanently sterile, which is really, really upsetting and really disappointing. But I'm looking on the bright side and hopefully that won't be what happens. I actually went and spoke to my doctor, Dr. Sinclair in Beverly Hills, about all the options, possibilities, the science behind it, and it's very interesting. So I will definitely include some of that now. And obviously I haven't had bottom surgery, so I can still hopefully save my DNA, but I don't know where to go.
Well, one thing you could do is you could go off of estrogen for a period of time.
Okay.
And you could go on some medications that stimulate your spermatogenesis, which is the production of baby Blairs, and then, and see where that goes.
Okay. So would you say that people should be a little more careful before they go on hormones to just think about it? Just have it in the back of your mind.
I think that mindfulness is a really good concept for all of us in all of our endeavors. And something as important as
having a family.
Reproductive rights and family is a big thing. And so if you can approach this topic ahead of time, and it doesn't really take much to give yourself options. And it just means freezing what you already have.
Right.
And and having it for the future.
But I will say this also reaffirms my position that people need to be very careful with allowing very, very young children to transition, because if I at 22 was not thinking about the fact that I would maybe someday want kids, a 12, 13, 14 or younger year old is definitely not. So just keep that in mind. Like, I personally feel, and not everyone wants kids, and that's totally fine, but I personally feel like that is where I see my life headed. That is one of the biggest goals, if not the biggest goal of my life. I transitioned to live a normal life, not to live this life of just, I transitioned and now I'm just working and out here for myself for the rest of my life. I transitioned to have a family, to have a husband, to have kids. If I had started 14, 15, 16, there would just be no way. I don't want to polarize people in this video, but I also just want you guys to be aware that that is a reality. And so people, please be very, very careful about these very, very young kids transitioning, because if I wasn't thinking about a family at 22 and, whether or not I wanted to have kids, these 14, 15 and younger year olds are definitely not. And I don't want to get super polarizing in this video. I've done a million videos about kids transitioning, but I'm just being real. This is just the reality of the situation, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Little known fact, I have never spoken about this, but on my dad's side of the family, I am actually completely the last in the bloodline. So if I don't have a kid, my bloodline on my dad's side literally dies with me, which is absolutely a tremendous pressure and stress. It's a very unique feeling to feel like, okay, if I don't, spread my DNA, then I basically am killing off my bloodline. Because you guys know my dad has passed away, so he can't have more kids with my mom. And then there's my uncle, but he's gay, so he's not going to reproduce. And so I'm literally the last of the white bloodline, which sounds terribly racist, but that's actually my last name. That's actually my family name. So someone's going to edit that out of context. So I have not been off hormones for that long since I started. I think the most I've gone is like maybe a week or so, because I didn't have a prescription. I'm scared at the bodily changes that are going to possibly take into account. I am scared of the mental changes. I don't want any crazy mood swings. Hormones are no joke. So that in itself is terrifying, but I am willing to go through it for the sake of my future. So this is the next phase of my transition, which is, funnily enough, detransitioning. Hormones have changed so much about my body and so much about my emotions and my mentality, and just more than I could ever explain. It's terrifying. It is so foreign to me, but it's also something that I know is necessary. I have to try. It wouldn't be fair to myself for limiting my future possibilities, or to Joey for being engaged to me and it's just us and the dog and the cat forever. No, I really want kids. Life is complicated, guys. Life is no joke. Life is no joke. And yeah, I don't know. I just really appreciate you guys being with me step by step throughout my transition. Like I said, I was on hormones 2 months before I started. You guys have seen the whole journey. And you guys have always been so supportive and so amazing. And I'm just so lucky to have you guys. I really, really am. Make sure you guys subscribe, leave a comment. I read every single comment. And also make sure you guys become a member to my channel. There are exclusive videos up that you can only see if you're a member. The join button is down below and a link in the description as well. It's an amazing way to help the channel and get exclusive videos. What's better? And until next time, when I come on the screen raging because I have no hormones in me, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.